All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Coyote Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. We're here to give you the podcast with Coach Daryl Steward. We're going to talk about Week 7 in HBCU football. What's going on, Cole?
Oh, man, great weekend for football, Mr. Mosley. Big upset last night in the SWAC. And, man, just hope it don't carry on to today, Mr. Mosley, because we got another big win today.
Man, we got some big games, and we're going to preview the games. We already did a recap from last week on the show a couple of days ago. So Coach and I, we're going to focus on the preview of what to expect in HBCU football today. Last night, you said it. It was a big upset. Prairie View went up to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff took them to the woodshed. 21-17. Now, people say, oh, Mr. Mosley, that's not a big score. Well, Prairie View was favored to win by 7.5 points. And Pine Bluff, those kids, they responded to the adverse situations that they had last week. They were up 14 points on Alcorn State. They lost the game. They had one of their kids to go down temporarily. He lost feeling in some of his extremities, but he's doing well now, the defensive back. I just think this was a statement win for Coach Hampton and his program. What's your thoughts?
Definitely a statement win. I think Coach Hampton, and I know by him losing that game last week, the way he lost at Alcorn, against Alcorn, Mr. Moses, Coach Hampton was under pressure. I mean, to lose that game the way he lost it. And, you know, we talk about these phone calls all the time, man. But he responded well, man, to have a win like that, to beat Prairie View 21-17, to have his team to come out from a devastating loss like that to Alcorn. It just shows his character of his team, and his team responded well.
Yeah, they responded well as the quarterback, Mekhi Higgins, as well as Giovanni Gibson. This young man is a stud. He's a star. Yeah. I mean, Coach, man, we talked about it. Look, out of the past 6 games, he's put up 758 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, 31 receptions. He's averaging 24.45 yards per catch. He's averaging 126.33 yards per game. That's NFL-like numbers that people are already drooling and salivating. Talk about it, Coach. You know it better than I do. Tell me, am I wrong?
Hey, this kid is a pro, Mr. Mosley. He passes the minimum makeup as a wide receiver, 6'3", 210 pounds. He's probably a 4'4", 4'5" kid, the way he runs, yards after catch. This kid can do it all, and he proved that last night. But, you know, what I'm so ecstatic about Mr. Mosley is he's a Louisiana kid, and to be 6'3", 210 pounds and can run like that, I'm just surprised that Grambling, Southern, and even LSU let him out of the back door. But, you know, the way he's putting up numbers right now, he's in my top 3 as SWAC Player of the Year.
Yeah, you have to think about it, and you look at Daniel Richardson, what he's doing. You look at Giovanni Gibson, what he's doing. Jacobian Morgan, what he's doing. Giovanni Gibson, nobody thunk it, or would have considered him being one of the top players. But he reminds me of Marcus Colston from the Saints, man. You know?
Really?
Yeah, look at his body size and style and his hands. That's the thing that impressed me more than anything else. When they had to go to him in crunch time, the 2 times, I think the 50-plus yard bomb to get them closer into 1 point of Prairie View when they were down 8-0. And then when it was crunch time on that third down to be able to extend the drive and also take time off the clock, they went directly to the guy. Now, you brought up a point. What was happening with Prairie View on that play defensively?
Yeah, defensively, I just think Prairie View broke down. And you can see, I remember Coach Bubba McDowell getting on his staff at the Grambling game on defense. And your head coach, I'm seeing it a lot with these head coaches and staff. You look at T.C. Taylor running offense and being the head coach. You look at Bubba McDowell into his offense and being the head coach. I just don't believe you can do it all. And I think what's happening is costing some of these head coaches not having the right staff because you can't do it all on the collegiate level. High school, you might can get away with it, but you just can't do it on the collegiate level. And I just think coaching cost them last night, and he just missed it. I mean, but they had to know that the ball was going to Javonte Gibson. I mean, if you didn't know that, the way he was really killing their defense was just phenomenal, Mr. Mosley.
I didn't understand it. How do you leave as a free safety or even as a strong safety? And really, safeties are hybrid these days. Right. How do you leave your cornerback one-on-one, your cornerback who is, I think he's 4 to 5 inches shorter than this guy, right, leave him one-on-one in a critical situation? That's what we're talking about in football these days. The situations, you have to understand what's going on. And I don't get it. I didn't understand it. I saw this also happen last week in Alabama, man, when Daniel Richardson threw that touchdown to put Florida A&M up and away from Alabama State. They left the kid one-on-one with their best receiver. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You just got to be able to make those. I would have bracketed the guy or put double coverage on him because clearly he's that type of receiver.
I would say, make someone else beat us, not him.
Right. And that's what I was surprised of by Coach McDowell. He allowed that kid to really do damage to his defense, which I just thought was unbelievable.
What happens now with Prairie View?
Well, I mean, if I know Coach McDowell like I know him, clearly it's going to be some changes on defense. I don't think they would, I don't think they're going to pull the plug on him simply because what he's done at Prairie View, nobody's done in a while. But, sometimes you have these years, Mr. Mosley, and you got to go back to the drawing board. Everybody's not meant to be a coach. And now that the salaries are up, the head coaches are making these large salaries, you might want to look into getting some of these salaries to yours. Johnny Cole talked about that. You're going to have to pay these assistant coaches at least $80,000 to $90,000. The days of paying a coach $40,000 to $50,000 to be an assistant, you're going to get that type of work, and clearly that's what a lot of these coaches are getting.
Prairie View's offense, they're down to their third string quarterback.
Right.
They didn't try to put Peters back into the game. Well, they had Johnson start the game. Now, Johnson, to his credit, man, he did not do a bad job. He did have one interception. He had a touchdown. He passed 25 of 37 completions for 268 yards. But it just seemed to me that the offensive coordinator went away from what was working. And Jay Walker spoke about that on the broadcast. When you have a Pine Bluff team that was giving up over 200 yards rushing per game.
Right.
Why are you passing the ball with a young man who's starting his first game?
I mean, it just looked like, that's what I was saying, Mr. Mosley. It just looked like a totally different Pine Bluff team than the week before. And, kudos to Coach Hampton. Like I say, when you feel the pressure from your administration, you're going to get up off the pot, Mr. Mosley.
But I guess where I'm coming from, Coach, you got to give Pine Bluff credit, and I agree with you. But when you're Prairie View and you're the offensive coordinator, why did you get away from the run?
I tell my staff this all the time. Clearly, that should have been in the scouting report. And Coach McDowell, I mean, I know he had to see that in the scouting report as well. When they're giving up 200-plus yards in rushing, clearly, Prairie View can run the ball. Now, why they didn't do that, I don't know. But these head coaches are doing a lot. They're managing the game. Plus, they're, going back, looking to see these young coaches, see if they're calling the correct plays. So sometimes you can do too much, and it can cost your team, Mr. Mosley.
All right. Well, I know Coach McDowell does have an offensive and defensive coordinator. He allows them to call the plays. He manages the game. So it's not like he was doing the play calling, but as a head coach, if you don't like what's going on the field, you do have the say-so to, hey, right, tweak this, tweak that. And right, I think in certain situations, you even saw it where he was coaching up some of the players on the sidelines at times right, as well. So hopefully they rectify the situation, because right now Prairie View is 2-5. And they have lost 3 SWAC games: Texas Southern, and now Pine Bluff. They are eventually out of the SWAC West race, but we know in the wacky SWAC West, anything can happen. And it has happened the past couple of years where the winner had, 3 losses in the SWAC, right? So we shall see what's going on there, guys. I just think, Coach, I understand where you're coming from, man. If you want, a young lady said this: if you want quality, you got to pay for it.
Right.
If you don't want quality, you pay for what you get, baby.
Right.
And that's what's happening with the coaching. I'm not saying these guys are not good coaches. I'm just saying you can see that there was inconsistency in play calling from an offensive standpoint. And I saw that at Alabama State too, man. If you have this kid rushing 144 yards on a Rattlers defense, why were you starting to throw the ball?
Yeah, man. You got to take what the defense gives you. And, clearly right now, the eyes of the opponents, we're not doing a very good job of scouting our opponents. And especially when you get on national TV, you got to be ready to perform. And that's what now the pressure's on Coach Bubba McDowell to get it back right. But clearly Prairie View is in a bad situation right now.
Yeah, I hope so for Coach, man. He's a friend of ours, but I just wonder sometimes if your staff has that same vision. They have to share that same vision, right?
Right, they do.
Yeah, that's what concerns me. We're going to take a quick break. Coach and I will return, and after we return, we'll talk a little bit about some of the games ahead for today. Kyle T. Mosley, HBCU Legends. Go to hbculegends.net, and also follow our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. It's the greatest time of year again. Football is back, and it's here to stay till February. As a fantasy owner, I love Underdog Fantasy. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on a favorite player's stat. For example, touchdown, passing yards, and more. I love Underdog because it's so easy and fast to get started and play. And you have the ability to win some real money while rooting for your favorite players. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code HBCU Legends, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code HBCU Legends, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned about your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, go to 800-NEXT-STEP. That's 800-639-8783 or text Next Step to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Enjoy your fantasy play with Underdog. All right, Cole, we are back in his house, and Coach, today there's a lot of good games, and let's talk about the games in the SWAC that's going to go down today. I'm looking at the schedule for the SWAC.
Two big ones in the West that can decide the future of the West: Southern and Texas Southern, and Alcorn and Grambling. Both, the loser could be out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's first talk about what's going to happen in the earlier two games. Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M. That's a closer game than people give credit to.
Right.
And that's going to be on HBCU Go. So you can check that game out around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then you have Mississippi Valley against Alabama State. You have to figure Alabama State has to win this one at home, don't you?
Yeah. I think Alabama State's going to win this one. He's going to rebound and get ready for his next opponent. I don't think Valley will have a chance. But, hey, I've seen crazy things that happen. And on the Bethune-Cookman side, I think Coach Connell Manor is scoring. He's found his quarterback in Langford. I think they're going to upset. Bethune-Cookman today as well.
Oh wow! Okay. Alcorn State goes up to Eddie G. Robinson Stadium and going to play Graham and the G-Men on ESPN Plus. What you think? What you think, Coach? I want to hear it.
I think right now this is going to be a close game because Alcorn has to win this ball game, but I just don't see them going into Eddie G. Robinson Stadium beating Grambling. This could be if they do, clearly this would be an upset win, but I just don't see them going into Eddie G. Robinson Stadium beating Grambling. I think Grambling win the ball game 28-14.
Okay. And we got the nightcap. I'm going to be there at Shell Energy Stadium. Coop is going to be there too, man. So it's going to be Southern against Texas Southern. Southern, this is the second trip Southern comes to Texas this year, man. That is another one that's going to be a lot closer than people anticipate, don't you think?
Yeah, a lot closer. This one, Southern has to win. If they lose, they'll be out of the race. And I think what happens is Southern plays better under pressure. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Southern's going to win this ball game.
T-Set, will he be playing?
T-Set will not start. He will not start the game. I'm not saying that he won't play, but I got word that Noah Biden will start. And I think Biden gives them the best chance of winning the ball game as well.
Y'all heard it. Coach said he got word. See, he doesn't disclose his sources to me either, man. All right, Cole. I hear you could have told the brother something, man. Had me out there talking about, oh, T said gonna play. All right. So I see how you do. All right, Coach. The MEAC. We got Howard. They are playing the out of conference game against Sacred Heart today. We don't know what type of Howard team we have this year, Coach.
No, we don't. They've been struggling, and I don't know. Coach Scott has what all the rest of the head coaches have. Having assistant coaching problems. A lot of coaches dealing with NIL. So this is a different type of Howard team this year. Let's hope he gets it together so they can perform at a high level.
Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
And Trey the Truth Oliver, as Coach would say, is taking on Virginia Lynchburg. But Virginia Lynchburg, man, I was shocked last week. They came to Houston and they put up 10 points on Texas Southern, and they only allowed Texas Southern to score 28.
Yeah. Coach Trey the True Oliver's gonna have his team ready to play. They're playing lights out right now. I don't think they want to look in advance to that big one next week against South Carolina State, but clearly, North Carolina Central will win the ball game, I think.
Coach say clearly.
Clearly.
I like that, Coach. Coach said there's no doubt that this is going to happen. So a lot of people have them at the top of the power rankings, and we'll talk about that toward the end of the show. Norfolk State versus Townsend. Again, Coach Odom's under pressure.
Oh, yeah. It's tough, Mr. Mosley, when you go into these it's kind of like Delaware State when you're trying to change the culture. It just can't be Coach Odom's. It has to be everybody involved. But clearly the pressure, it starts with Coach Odom's as being the head coach. Hopefully he can get it turned around, but it's going to take time, man.
Yeah. Delaware State. They hope to make a statement against Robert Morris. Can that be done?
They're showing signs. They're showing signs. I think whoever comes in there has to put a plan together. It's hard changing cultures because it just can't be one person. You have to get everybody on board when you're trying to change the culture. And but I saw some great things out of Delaware State, and let's hope they can get it turned around.
Okay. Morgan State takes on Merrimack.
Coach Damian Wilson right now, Mr. Mosley, been kind of quiet. He's had some great wins, but not showing signs of dominating that league. And this is year 3. When talking to the Morgan State fans doing MEAC conference, it was they were expecting to win the conference, and I don't know. This team is struggling right now on offense. He's a defensive guy. Let's hope he can get his team turned around as well.
Now, Morgan State, we got to give them some credit here. They're 3-3 right now. They were able to put that first W on the board by defeating Hampton. They lost to Townsend, lost to Ohio. They beat Virginia Lynchburg. They lost to Stony Brook. They beat Lincoln. So everybody that they were supposed to beat, they have won those HBCU games. It's the out-of-conference games that they haven't won. And they're playing another one with Merrimack. And let's see what Merrimack's – I don't think Merrimack is that good this year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the following week after that, I think they have a bye, and then they take on NCCU, Norfolk, Delaware State, South Carolina State, and the end the season against Howard.
Right.
So I think, look, if you talk about NCCU, that's probably a loss. Or it could be, if they upset NCCU, then they have a lot going for them.
Right.
They can defeat Norfolk, but that's always a tough game there. Delaware State, you don't know which one you're getting. They're up and rising. I think by the time they get to South Carolina State is going to be position themselves to either win the MEAC or not. And Howard, I think they can win. So I think they can come out of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games as at least 3-2 there. Then they'll probably be at 6 and whatever. But their conference record, if they can't beat South Carolina State and if they cannot defeat NCCU, in my opinion, I think they may not have a chance at this time this season, right?
Right.
So I can see where you're coming from, but guys, the frustration, I would say give him a chance. He needs a better quarterback as well. So, all right, now here's the deal. South Carolina State is on a bye, right?
Right.
Then they play Fort Valley next week, then Delaware State, then the big one on Halloween against North Carolina Central. So we're going to book your ticket already, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
That should be a good one on Thursday night, and it's going to be on ESPNU.
Right.
Wow. So that's what we're going to look ahead to. That could be the game that settles the MEAC for 2024. All right?
Right.
All right, let's talk about some SIAC games, man. Last week, Clark Atlanta finally, they fell. Clark Atlanta is going to take on Central State. How do you see this one?
I think Clark is going to rebound. They're going to have their team ready to play, and I'm picking Clark to win this.
Okay. Benedict versus the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State.
Kentucky State's been quiet. I think Benedict is on the rise. They still have some championship players on that team that Coach Chennisberry left them. I think Benedict's going to win this.
Yeah, Kentucky State got beat by Morehouse, so that's all you need to know there.
Wow.
I'm shading my own alma mater, but look, it's the facts, man. They're struggling, and if Kentucky State lost to them, that's a struggling program as well. Allen versus Fort Valley State.
This is going to be a good one. But I think Fort Valley State, Coach Sean Gibbs have his ball club ready to play. I think his ball club will win that ball game, Fort Valley State.
Okay. Albany State versus Miles. Now, that seemed like that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. Coach Sam Shea, I don't know. He's been kind of up and down, but I think he's going to rebound today. I'm picking Miles to beat Albany State.
Yeah, I got Miles as well. Tuskegee versus Lane.
Man, where's Tuskegee been? You talking about a dominant program of this conference. It's been quiet. This one could be a toss-up, but, I got to go with Tuskegee in this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lose faith in them like everybody else, but, I mean, man, if they lose to Lane today, it could be trouble at Tuskegee.
All right, the Golden Tigers will win, Coach says. And Savannah State versus Lincoln. Now, Johnny Cole said this. I was rolling. He said, what Lincoln team can win?
He was telling the truth.
I was like, Coach, you're wrong. So, yeah, I think Savannah State is going to take that one as well. Let's go over to the CIAA. Elizabeth City State against Virginia Union. I think Doc is going to put it on them. Too much data bias. Too much data bias.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Virginia Union is going to win that one.
All right. And Winston-Salem State is going to host Shaw. Now, that is going to be a good game.
Great game. I got Winston-Salem State winning this one big, though. They're on a high right now. They're playing great football on both sides of the ball, so I'm picking Winston-Salem State.
Bluefield State against Lincoln in Pennsylvania.
Bluefield State.
All right. West Virginia State, the Hornets going, or is it the Yellow Hornets or Yellow Jackets? Or what? Yeah, Yellow Jackets. That's what they are. I know it's a B or Sting or whatever. Going against Concord. It's going to be tough sledding for those guys.
Yeah, but I think West Virginia State can pull it out.
Oh, okay. Fayetteville State versus Livingstone.
Fayetteville State.
Okay. And Bowie State versus Virginia State.
I'm picking Virginia State in this one.
I have to agree with you. They lost a game last week. They've got to, if they got to keep pace in that division, because this year CIAA did without that northern, south, or east, west, whatever they had. So now everybody's in one bucket. In order for them to stay pace with Johnson C. Smith and all those guys, they've got to be able to win this game, right? All right, let's talk about some of the independents. Florida Memorial versus Southeastern in Florida. It's going to be on HBCU Plus.
Florida Memorial, one of the uprising HBCU programs. I'm picking them to win it.
Langston in Oklahoma against Oklahoma Panhandle State.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Langston.
Tennessee State at homecoming, welcoming Eastern Illinois.
You know, this was going to be a tough one for Coach Eddie George. I know it's Tennessee State homecoming, but when you bring in the big dogs like Eastern Illinois to come in there, it's going to be a tough win for them. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm picking Tennessee State to pull out the upset 23-20.
Ooh, okay. Look at Coach. Coach stomping with the big dogs on this one. All right. Eddie, can you do it? Can you pull off the win, baby?
Can you pull off a big win, a big upset?
Big one. We need a big one. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Coach. And it was great to see those guys at First Take was on campus with Stephen A. Smith as well as Shannon and the new addition, Cam Newton. Let's talk about that right quick before we go on further. Cam is, I wouldn't say resurrecting his career, but he is doing some good stuff. But before we do that, man, I'm looking at the time. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 and 2. I'm Coyote Mosley of HBCU Legends. It's the greatest time of year again. Football is back, and it's here to stay till February. As a fantasy owner, I love Underdog Fantasy. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on a favorite player's stat. For example, touchdown, passing yards, and more. I love Underdog because it's so easy and fast to get started and play. And you have the ability to win some real money while rooting for your favorite players. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code HBCU Legends, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code HBCU Legends, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years of older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned about your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, go to 800-NEXT-STEP. That's 800-639-8783 or text Next Step to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Enjoy your fantasy play with Underdog. All right, Coach, let's talk about Cam Newton, and he's joining the HBCU Legends over there. First take. How do you see that working out, man?
It's just like what we do, Mr. Mosley. He started out with Funky Fridays, his own podcast, and ESPN, the big billion-dollar media market. They looked at Cam. Cam carries himself first class. Let's get that squared away first. He's excellent at the quarterback position. He knows football inside and out. And I think ESPN was looking for that particular guy to replace a lot of great commentators that have been on ESPN. And now you're bringing in Cam Newton that has a big following. And I'm proud of him and hope he keeps up the great work.
I'm proud of Cam as well. And I'm proud of him for the fact that Cam's ability to morph into a media personality is great to see.
Right. And also to stay focused, people don't understand this, to stay focused in the lovely city of Atlanta, Georgia, where there's a lot going on. I have to commend him where he's a big figure. He has great parents, dad's a preacher, mom's a former school teacher. So he knows what to do on and off the field. But, just a first-class guy, and I think he's going to do well at ESPN, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, man. But you saw what Cam gives a lot of himself. He gives a lot of himself to those 7-on-7 things. Right. He's a motivational speaker. He also, behind the scenes, has been at a few of the HBCU games and has been supportive. I think he was at Clark Atlanta earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. He's been on the sidelines of a Jackson State game before. So he gives back who he is, his talent, his ability. And I think Cam still can play, in my opinion. I don't understand NFL.
They say that
I don't get it.
Tom Brady. Those guys, they don't have an ounce of body fat. These guys are phenomenal athletes, and I agree with you. I think he could have played 1 or 2 more years as well.
If you need, you see, what's the boy, Jalen Hurts with the push tush. Cam didn't need no push tush. All he needed to just lean forward. He'll pick up that yard for you. That's how he was, just tough to break down and bring down. So, kudos to ESPN for having the foresight to see what Cam Newton can bring to the table. But let's go to this topic. And this is something you like to talk about. Stephen A. Smith. He was on with, was it 60 Minutes? If I'm not mistaken. And he was asked, your contract is up next season. We heard you are looking for $100 million. Why should they pay you that? Isn't that something? What type of question you ask of a man?
Yeah. Well, celebs and entrepreneurs, commentators, athletes, Everybody's smarter now. Whatever the market value pays, I think that's what he's going to get. When you look at NFL new NFL contracts, and players that are up for contracts, whatever the market value is for Stephen A., I think that's what ESPN is going to give him. Of course, he puts up big numbers, but I'm kind of curious on this Cam Newton hire. Could he be the new face of ESPN? Because I'm going to tell you something now. Cam Newton has big numbers. And if Stephen A. is passing him, it's not by a long shot. And so I'm curious. I don't think he's going to get $100 million. Let me just put that out there. Now, he's going to be close, but I don't think he's going to get 100. This is not football.
I think he is. I think he will get $100 million deal.
Okay. Yeah.
The reason why, I heard him say it, and I had to start thinking about it. If you're going to pay Pat McAfee $100 million,
right,
and you got rid of 20% of your staff or more, something to that nature, right? You're factoring in somewhere that a guy like Stephen A. Smith, who has the number one show, debate show, talk show in sports, has to be able to bring you more money.
Right.
Because even with Pat McAfee joining and people thought he was going to take over, First Take is still number one. And that acquisition of Shannon Sharpe helped him out. Now this acquisition of Cam Newton is going to help him out. Now, Cam is not going to be a consistent, but he's going to be a regular commentator. But what you said made me think as well earlier, if it doesn't work out with Stephen A., could Cam take over?
Yeah, he could possibly take over, Miss Mose. Listen, let me tell you, this guy is a football machine. He knows the game. He's not going to make too many mistakes, and he's going to ask all the right questions. Now, like I said, what I'm concerned about is ESPN going to take the approach as well as to say, clearly Stephen A. should be making more than, like you say, Pat McAfee. But when you bring in Cam Newton, it's just like splitting the votes. How are you going to pay Shannon Sharpe, Cam Newton, and Stephen A.? And that's why I say I don't think he's going to get $100 million. Now, I think he's going to be close, but there's no way you can pay all three. And I think that's what ESPN is looking at. If Stephen A. doesn't sign and he decides to break off or go somewhere else, I'm thinking that, well, I'm not going to say I'm thinking, the next man up will be Cameron Newton.
Interesting. Cam Newton. I don't know, Coach.
I mean,
what I will say,
I would say Kyle T. Mosley, but ESPN, Auburn grad, former NFL MVP, and what I heard, Mr. Mosley, was, they tried to get Tom Brady, and Fox paid Tom Brady all that money. So they could. I mean, the only person who was left was Cam, and they hurried up and jumped on him. And like I said, Cam has unbelievable numbers as well. And, I just think right now they brought Cam Newton in to split. They're going to split it. There's no way they can pay Shannon Sharpe, Cam Newton, and Stephen A. Smith.
Cam. Cam going to do his due. I don't care who wins. I know right now, I think we all are winning.
Yeah.
That's what I love when I see this lineup. I think we all are winning to have a Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, Cam Newton.
Right.
That's what I'm more proud of than anything else. So, I wish I could stomp. I want to stomp with the big dogs. I hope I can get there.
Let me ask you this before I want to ask you this. I know every daytime is where the money is, but even if, and I know Stephen A is probably gonna listen to the show later on, but I want to tell Stephen A. Nightcap, what Shannon Sharpe is doing is unbelievable because he's getting all the night numbers. And nobody is attacking that nightcap, but people are up all night. And if he doesn't get his big deal and he goes along with Shannon Sharpe on the nightcap, I think, because right now, Shannon is getting all the nightcap numbers in sports. I mean, I know everybody want to be on daytime, but if you take advantage of that nightcap, I think you would do well.
I'm hurt, Coach. I'm hurt because Black Sports Insiders, we're on the nighttime as well. So you saying we can't compete? You said, I heard what you just said. We can't compete with Shannon Sharpe. That's what I took that at. I'm hurt. I'm flabbergasted. I'm befuddled and whatever. No, you're right. Nighttime is a great time slot. Matter of fact, it's been proving if you are a podcaster, and I want you guys to listen to this.
Right.
You do your slot after 9 p.m. More people going to listen. Why?
Yeah.
People are settled down, resting up. They're probably working at the desk or just trying to chill out. They don't want to see what's on TV, but they are see what's happening. Yeah. Having a cigar, chilling, having some bourbon. So something like that has to be out there, and I think it is a good time slot for those guys because really the talk between he and Ocho Cinco, and even they have had Coach Prime and guys like that on this show, is barbershop talk, right? That's how we talk behind the scenes, and they're putting it out front in clear view, and that's what people have been gravitating to. Same thing with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, think about this, man. McAfee is a punter. McAfee didn't play quarterback or anything to that nature. He was a punter. But McAfee had good relationships with most of those NFL guys, right? So if you look at his show is broken down where he is in a to those guys, his buddies. And that's what Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco doing. They're talking like buddies. And that's what people want to hear, man. What's the young man HBCU guy? Off script.
Yeah.
Right? People gravitate to off script because he's not classified as Mr. Professional. He's just talking to you. He's saying all the things that people like me want to say, but I can't say.
Right.
Right? Think about it, Coach. So I had this conversation with my writers, and they were like, "Man, how are some of these people not reading the articles, Nate?" Because we're in a generation today where people are not reading. They want to either hear what you got to say,
right,
or they want to look at an IG photo. That's how they get their news. They're not getting their news by sitting down and reading. We're at a deficit when it comes to that part of entertainment, I guess, and because this is entertainment. I don't care what people like to say or not. Sports, these podcasts and everything is about entertainment. All right, we'll be back in 2 and 2 and to be able to wrap up the show. County Mosley with Coach Daryl Steward. I'm County Mosley of HBCU Legends. It's the greatest time of year again Football is back and it's here to stay till February. As a fantasy owner, I love Underdog Fantasy. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on a favorite player's stat. For example, touchdown, passing yards, and more. I love Underdog because it's so easy and fast to get started and play. And you have the ability to win some real money while rooting for your favorite players. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code HBCU Legends, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code HBCU Legends, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years of older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned about your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, go to 800-NEXT-STEP. That's 800-639-8783 or text Next Step to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Enjoy your fantasy play with Underdog. All right, Cole, let's bring it to a wrap up. Next 15 minutes, man. Talk to me about any big news items that is on your heart.
Well, the big NCAA made a big decision with the national letter of intent.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, they're letting the universities decide their destiny now. The word I got was they're putting the pressure on the athletic directors now. They are saying there's a lot of money out there. If you do not go out there and seek the best for your particular students, then they're going to leave it on the university, which I think is outstanding by the NCAA. They're going to let you decide your fate. And now, putting the pressure all on the athletic directors, you're getting paid the money. Now you got to respond, Mr. Mosley. So I just think it was a great move. But if you don't know what you're doing, it could be a bad move.
Yeah. Well, look, if you guys haven't heard, what Coach is explaining is that the NCAA Division I Council has approved the measure to eliminate the National Letter of Intent program. That's a historic shift in how colleges recruit young men. You would see the big dramatic stage that some of these kids would have at their high schools. I recall when Travis Hunter chose Jackson State over Florida State, Alabama, and Georgia. And those type of big productions have been very good for drama when it comes to the high school. But when it comes to the recruiting efforts, it hasn't been so good, right? So under the what Eli Letterman of ESPN has written about this is that under the new rules, transfer students, the athletes will be allowed to sign with a new school after they've formally entered the portal. Per the NCAA, once a prospect has signed a written offer of athletic aid, other schools will be prohibited from recruiting communications. Wow.
Yeah, it's big, man. It's going. Everything's going global now. You got to change your brand on how you recruit, how you do everything now.
So it's a financial aid agreement that now these kids have to enter into with the colleges, and that's a contract.
Right.
That's what they're saying, and I think it's shifting a lot because you remember, Coach, throughout the years, a kid would say, "Yeah, I committed to LSU."
Right.
Then next week, I decided I didn't like how LSU lost, so I'm committing to Georgia.
Right.
Oh, I commit. No, you can't keep doing that. That's what they're saying. Even that national letter of intent wasn't a contract, and this is more a contractual agreement between the schools and the kids. Now, what will that do for some of these kids, Coach? Is it going to have them to push back their decision making?
Well, it's clearly and simple, Mr. Mosley. Who's going to have the best contract? That's what it boils down to now. That's why the NCAA is taking this approach. Your financial agreement might have a condo in it. It might have whether in a dormitory, you know. So who's going to have the best contract? And that's why I give shout out to the NCAA for letting they're trying to see how creative these athletic directors are, how creative the presidents are. Let's see really how creative you are making up your own financial agreement. And, you know, let's just face it, you know, some of these schools now are phenomenal. You can put all different type of clauses in there now. So I just think right now is who has the best contract to present to these young student athletes.
Sounds like to me these athletic directors are in cahoots with the NCAA. They're especially the big boys who from the Power Four who are probably they're forming that super conference and everything. And right. I think this is a way to squeeze out the little man like the HBCUs and the FCSs. That's what this seems like to me, Coach. Making it more contractual, meaning that we ain't going to have another Travis Hunter situation.
Well, I don't know about that because they're leaving it up to the universities. So I just think right now
I don't trust it. I don't trust it, Coach. I don't trust it, man, because it seems like to me, you're telling me that these kids are now you're under contract. You're a high school. You're a 17, 18-year-old young man. Now you under contract?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. You know, these kids have a bright future now. It's going to be up to the universities to see how creative they are in creating these new financial aid packages for these young student athletes. And Mr. Mosley, you know what's the new saying in the HBCUs? It's about the student experience. And so
it's about the student money. That's what it's about. Come on, Coach. Come on, don't give me that. You see, you going with that packaging deal. It look good. Let's call it the student experience. Nah, these boys getting paid, man. Look, yeah. Travis Hunter said, yeah, look, now, if y'all want me to stay at Colorado, I think a $40 million NIL sounds about right. Can you blame?
Well, you know, you just said it best. It's sports entertainment now. The marketing is big. The shoe deals are bigger. Everything's bigger now because everybody's, you know, following that NFL brand. They're going global. And the SEC is going global. I think the SWAC is going to go global. I mean, that's where the money is. And so I can't wait to see who's going to be the SWAC first NIL kid because I just think right now this is the way to go. You know, you take a car deal now and put it into a student athlete agreement, then, you know, hey, there's nothing that they can do about it, Mr. Mosley. It's legal. So I just think, you know, the SWAC has unbelievable advantages right now.
Those businessmen got with these guys, they're everybody in cahoots. Businesses, the corporations, NCAA. NCAA don't have to really tell y'all jack squat. So, yeah, they're all into this all together. And, you know, Coach, don't fall for the okie doke. These kids are going to be suffering, and you're going to hear a few of them crying in a few months. Watch.
Mr. Mosley, you sound like these professors, man. When they saw it, they said, "Man, hey coach, how these kids going? Man, I got a PhD. Did you mean to tell me the kids gonna be making more than the PhD professor?"
Yep.
I say, yes, sir. That's
yes, sir. Yes, sir. They've always made more than you. You just didn't know about it, professor. Yeah. you think? Look, NILs has just been under the table money for years, guys. Come on. And now it's just legal. All right. Kendrick Perkins, the former NBA champion from Boston Celtics. He's now on ESPN. He started a new company called Nilly, which is offering athletes or student athletes upfront payments ranging from $25,000 and on up, right? So, so Nilly gets the exclusive rights to use and sell an athlete's name, image, and likeness for up to 7 years, and the company is going to invest back into the student athlete between 10 to 50% of the players' NIL earnings during that time. So people are upset. A consumer finance expert said that they believe the arrangement that Perkins has put out there with his company is going to prey on the young athletes. Hold on, guys. What has corporations been doing all these years but preying on young athletes? Come on, man. This is what I don't get. He's just coming up with a way that is also going to invest back into the athletes. So these kids are not going to lose out totally, So they make more money in the long run. But, all right, we'll watch that one closely. Coach, I just think when you look at what's happening right now, NIL, NLI, ABC, Alpha Disco Beta, Bio Aquadulu, I don't care what it is. Students got to get paid. Let those people get paid, man. Because these kids put their bodies on the line. They put their careers on the line. Also, they put their educational pursuits on the line. A lot. Right. Think about it. It takes a lot to really sit down and be a student athlete at any level these days. All right. Travis Hunter, Shadeur, Sanders, like it or not, these are guys who are former HBCU alums, and we're always going to be looking out for them, and we want them to do the best. And right now, these guys are in the Heisman talk. They're also in the talk that if they do decide to get into the NFL draft for the 2025 season, that they will be top picks in the draft. Your quick thoughts there.
Yeah, clearly I think Travis Hunter right now is the front runner for the Heisman. I did have Jalen Milroe of Alabama, but that loss last week I think is going to hurt.
He's out. Get him out.
Yeah,
get him out.
But clearly they hit it right on the nail. I have Travis Hunter 1, Shadeur Sanders 2, and Cam Ward of Miami 3. Those are my top guys right now. Of course, with the quarterback from Texas, he's been injured, but I have him in
I'm so sick of hearing about yours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You got to stay off the injury prone list, but I think right now those are my top 4 picks for the Heisman if they play it out. Shadeur Sanders, man, unbelievable talent. Jackson State president, former president, and the people just looking right now, and I don't know, man. You just say, you look what money can do, Mr. Mosley, and I think Shadeur Sanders right now, he could easily be the first pick of the NFL draft.
He should be the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, first quarterback of me. Yeah.
And like it or not, I saw 2 NFL execs said, an NFL exec said, a scout said, oh, he shouldn't play. He shouldn't be picked. I'm thinking, who else? Who else are you going to pick out there? He knows how to play the cornerback position. He knows how to read coverages. He doesn't make many mistakes. Isn't that what we say we want in a quarterback? Right?
Yes, sir.
He knows how to be able to make plays with his feet at times, right? And that's what you need in NFL as well. Now he knows how to slide, right?
Right.
So what am I missing, Coach?
And don't leave this out. He's doing it at the University of Colorado.
And he did it at Jackson State University, HBCU, where many people say, "Oh, that's a below par talent. You will not find talent there." Well, you find talent that these guys will be.
mean,
Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I think, well, from a marketing standpoint, I think Jackson State brand is a little bit bigger than Colorado. I mean, you got to give Coach, people don't like to say it, but you got to give Coach Prime and Shadeur Sanders, those guys, credit. You know, they wanted to go Power 5, and they put them at the worst Power 5 in the country. And so you got to give them credit on how they perform in doing it in what, year 2? Year 2, year 3 or year 2?
3, right?
Oh, okay, year 3. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, Hunter is 2, but, well, hold on. Hunter had 1 year Jackson State. Year 3 for Hunter, year 4 for Shadeur. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying at Colorado, they've been there 2 or 3 years. 2, right?
2 years in Colorado. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, to do this in year 2, man, come on, man. And I know the AD is from the Texas Rangers, a great guy, but come on. We got to give Coach Prime and his ball club credit. That's just a phenomenal job at Colorado.
Anything Coach Prime says is newsworthy at this time, and I like the fact that he put his team on the spot and telling those guys, if you don't do well in the classroom, you're not going to play.
Right.
And that's the most important thing. Education, education, education. All right, Coach, week 7 is here. In a few hours, kickoff is going to happen on the East Coast. Then we're going to have some games coming up. Watch out. There's a couple games on HBCU Go, HBCU Plus, the Grio, as well as the SWAC Digital Network will have a few games. Our friend Charles Bishop is going to be on the call for the SWAC Digital Network doing the play-by-play and color analysis. Yeah, man, for those guys. So listen up to Charles. He will be doing it for the Texas Southern game. Guys, you can follow Coach at Mr. Mega Tycoon, the man. Coach, how everybody can follow you on the World Wide Web, man?
They can check me out at tycoonleague2@gmail.com. Also, HBCU Legends Sports with Mr. Kyle T. Mosley.
All right. Shout out to all of our friends out there who have been following us and helping the platform to grow. Thank you very much. Go to hbclegends.net and you can check us out at HBCU Legends on all social media platforms. And you can check me out at KTMOZE on X. I'm Kyle T. Mosley. That's Coach Daryl Steward. Let's have a great and safe week 7. Guys, always be tenacious. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Ever wonder what's driving political trends and policy decisions? Check out the Science of Politics podcast from the Niskanen Center. This biweekly show features engaging conversations with up-and-coming political scientists and explores the latest research on elections, public opinion, and policy, from the impact of social media on voting behavior to the nuances of legislative decision-making. The Science of Politics breaks down complex political phenomena into accessible discussions. Whether you're working in politics or simply want to understand the forces shaping our political landscape, this podcast offers fresh perspectives that go beyond the headlines. Subscribe to the Science of Politics podcast and join a community of listeners passionate about understanding U.S. politics. It's time to bring more science to your politics.
Bring the dream of flight to life at iFly Indoor Skydiving. iFly gives you the rush of flying without the stomach drop feeling. It's a one-of-a-kind experience for any occasion, from birthdays and anniversaries to staycations or milestones. Expert instructors guide you to float on a cushion of air so you can embrace the freedom of flight and create lasting highlight reel memories. Get the thrill of flight without the height. Go to iFlyWorld.com and use code TAKEFLIGHT for 20% off. That's iFlyWorld.com, code TAKEFLIGHT.